Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Screening Club podcast, where we give you the insight into the media you love. I am here as always, my good friend Mike. How's it going, Mike?
Doing well, thank you. Good to be back. Hello.
Hello. Well, welcome back. We're happy to have you as always. And I guess Chris is here. Chris?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Doing pretty well. It looked like you had a pretty good week, Chris. I saw you posted on our Instagram a picture of some Game of Thrones show that you went to.
Yeah. Our father went to a golf show, avid golfer, and he played like a promotional game for some radio station, and he won tickets to the live Game of Thrones concert experience at the TD Garden.
Wow.
So I asked some friends. It ended up working out well. One of our good friends, it was his birthday, is a huge Game of Thrones fan, so we took him. And yeah, it was a crazy show.
Tell us about it.
So the way it worked was, I really knew nothing about it going in. Well, I Googled before, but before I heard about it, I knew nothing about it. So it was a full orchestra conducted by the guy that composed all of the score for Game of Thrones. His name is, I wrote it down, Ramin Djawadi. He's a German-born guy who actually went to school at the Berklee College of Music.
Pretty prolific television composer, I believe.
Yeah,
he's got a bunch of credits.
It seemed pretty... He seemed to be happy to be back in Boston. I guess like Berklee people came out and his old teachers came out and stuff.
Oh, cool.
So that was pretty cool to see. And basically what it was is, it was like this, at its core, it's an orchestra playing a score. So it's not like the most exciting thing ever.
Sure.
So in order to do that, in order to kind of sell tickets, they built this crazy stage show. So it's like these 3 massive screens, 2 of which are circular because it's theater in the round. It's at the TD Garden. And then things pop up from the ground, people move around the stage, things come down from the sky like snow falls and stuff. And basically what they did is they recut scenes from the show or did montages of characters. So like they would, so for the Stark theme, they would do a montage of like the Starks. For like they did the Reigns of Castamere, and it would be all these Lannister themed things.
Were people like cheering and stuff? Like, yeah,
people were cheering. It was kind of awkward. But some really cool moments, like they basically, 2 major parts of it were just live scores of major scenes from the show. So they did the complete Battle of the Bastards live scored.
Really cool.
Then they did The Light of the Seven, the scene where the
best song,
the chapel explodes. A complete live score of the entire scene. And like,
did they have a piano player come?
They did. Dajwani played the piano for that.
Piano.
Did they do Daenerys's sacking of that city?
They touched on it a little bit.
That's one of
her big moments were her going across the ocean with her ships. That was like one of the final things. And then when she steps into the flames and comes out with the dragons.
Wow.
That was big. But like pyrotechnics, and there was a man whose sole job, his job was called ethnic flutes. And he got a shout out. The man played ethnic flutes, and it was almost like, what's that? Jeff's like a music expert, so he knows these things. What's that New Zealand thing? What's the New Zealand?
The didgeridoo?
Yeah, it was like a didgeridoo, except it was soft. So like you were able to fling it around. He was like spinning it around and doing crazy things, and it would change with the way he was spinning.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, ethnic flutes. And like it was a crazy time.
Mm.
Yeah.
So tell us, what was your favorite part?
My favorite part, I'd say my favorite part is during the Stark theme, the violin player went out to this part of the stage and it raised her up, and then a translucent weirwood tree came down upon her, and she was inside of a translucent giant weirwood tree as like red petals fell onto the stage.
Wow.
I was just like, well, that's pretty crazy. Light of the Seven was amazing, especially when the wildfire explodes. Green fire shot up from the stage.
Jeez, I can't wait for Game of Thrones to come back.
Oh, and
I've been rewatching it.
The last thing I'll say about this is there was a minuscule preview for the next season.
No.
Small as you can be. It was a behind-the-scenes thing of them making the sets, and then right at the end, there's audio of Tyrion saying, "Welcome home, my queen."
Of who saying that?
Tyrion saying that.
Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah. Not even video, just the audio of Tyrion
I'm
saying
so
that.
excited.
Everyone must have been nuts then.
I don't
right?
think that was coming back from I'm calling it halftime, but they took it intermission. So I don't think a lot of people, like my friend, didn't even hear it.
Now I love hearing about this, but I don't want to bury the lead clearly today because we're recording this on a Wednesday. Tonight is a big night for television. Anyone that watched the Super Bowl knows what comes back tonight. It's been, how long have we been waiting? Feels like
the
years. Well, yeah, the Oscars. Yeah,
And I think wasn't there some in the Super Bowl?
No.
that
Different
too.
network.
Yeah.
Maybe my dream. That's just me dreaming.
How long have we been waiting though?
It's been
Seriously.
like 4 months. DS has been off
Sounds
the
about
air.
right.
Months. DS is back tonight. If you guys haven't seen from every trailer that's been out for it, there was an incident at the Capitol building.
Another one.
No. I'm also sort of disappointed how they showed the assassination attempt now in the coming attractions. Like
That's true.
Mike hadn't seen it, and now
That's okay.
Yeah.
yeah, but that was the moment of whatever that was, the first half of the first season.
That's what's going to get me back.
Are you coming back? You'll check out
No
this
promises.
one. Yeah, you'll check it out. But anyway, everyone, check out DS, Designated Survivor. It's coming back tonight. That's what Kiefer would want. Go and check it out. But another great show we've all been watching. We're 3 episodes deep now.
Mm-hmm.
The new HBO Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman, great cast, great cast,
Unbelievable.
big Little Lies. It's really a pretty cool. Now, Chris, you were saying it's based off of a book, right?
Yeah, it is based off a book, which I didn't know until I saw like the after episode recap. They were talking about like some storyline from the book that they were trying to translate over to television. But that seems to be HBO's thing, is they just take a book or a series of books and just turn it into a solid hour of television. How have you guys felt about these 3 episodes?
So I very recently caught up with all 3 of them. I hadn't watched it until I think Monday night. Then I watched all three in a row, and I was pretty captivated by it. I wasn't sure what to expect going in. I knew it had an amazing cast. It looked to be like a really well produced show. But I mean, it kind of just looked like your sort of run of the mill, rich white people problems type show that that cable TV specializes in. I'm looking at you, The Affair. But this show really kind of elevates above that setting, that trope. And I think it does so with just really terrific performances from everyone involved, and just really like layered writing of all of these characters. And of course, there's it has the added benefit of that murder mystery element that sort of weaves in and out of each episode. But
I smell a scream bat.
Sure, we can get to that. But I've been really, really loving it, and just want to single out Nicole Kidman. We were talking before we started recording. I think her performance that she's giving is really blowing me away, and her story in particular with Alexander Skarsgård of True Blood fame.
Eric Northman.
I think that plot is really captivating, and it's going to be really fascinating to me to see where that's going to go.
I think the entire cast is so good. I just am like, I'm buying into everyone. However, the storyline with Celeste and Perry, with the sort of domestic abuse situation, I'm just like, like we need to go somewhere with it. Like, I'm just sort of getting like, we just keep seeing these scenes where like, oh, he's asking a weird question again, like, oh, he's turning into crazy mode, and like how much?
Well, hold on.
How many more?
I gotta confront you about this. I mean, episode 1, he grabs her arm.
There's only been 3. So
I know, episode 1, he grabs her arm. That sort of clues us to maybe something not being so great between this seemingly like really mushy relationship that they have. Then episode 2, that's when
can I just say about episode 1? What happened in episode 1 was he started asking his weird questions, and it went from like very cute to like he's asking weird questions and turning psycho, and then he got violent. And then what happened in episode 2?
That's when the real assault occurs, when he slaps her, right? And then she slaps him back. He slams her against the wall, and they have that really rough, rapey looking sex. And then episode 3 is when they have the counseling. So there is some progression here. I don't agree that it's just sort of
every time. So we've had 3 times, and every time it's been they're having like a nice, like very loving conversation. Then he starts like asking a weird question, getting like very calm but upset about something. This has been every time. And then he gets physical. So we've seen this 3 times in three episodes. So I'm just wondering if
we've
we're
seen
going
variations of it, but there is different elements each time that we see it, and there is some progression. It's not just the same thing over and over. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I guess I would say, where did we go? Or
well,
like,
they just had the
I'd
counseling.
like to go somewhere.
And that scene in particular, I just want to highlight. Like that scene was amazing to me. Just Nicole Kidman's performance, like so much of it was silent and just reactionary to the things that he was saying, but I just couldn't keep my eyes away from watching her like react to the things that he was saying. And
okay, I know that you're saying that we're going somewhere, but I swear to God, if this next week we have 4 in a row of them sitting there and being lovey, and then him coming out with weird questions like about him being upset about something, and then it transitioning into him getting physical again.
Angry asshole.
An angry man.
It better not just be that again. Like it better go somewhere. I'm just getting like
frustrated.
Yeah.
What I'm worried about is that entire plot line is just a red herring to make us feel like Alexander Skarsgård is the murderer. I'm worried it's like
there's that, but also what we learned this week with Shailene Woodley's character and her previous raping. We never saw the man that did it, but we did see his backside. He kind of looked like Skarsgård. Like
that's the first thing I thought when we had that scene.
Did you guys watch the preview for next week?
I really tried not to. I turned it off, but I saw something that they said. I don't know if we should mention it.
I don't want to mention it then.
But my question was, okay, didn't we... I don't know if this is just something I felt or if it's based in something. Don't we know that the murderer is a woman?
I don't believe so.
Maybe they mentioned it, but I don't remember.
Haven't all the people talking been like, she just went after her, like they're acting like 2 women are fighting? Like, I thought that's what the people have been saying.
Maybe it would make sense that it's a woman, considering how woman-dominated the show is.
But well, I don't know.
I guess Chris was saying, I forget if this was on or off the air here, but that you hope it just goes 1 season. That would open up... That was
a private talk we were having, Jeff.
That would open up... Like, then that would start making me think, like, if we knew it was 1 season, then that could be anyone died, right? Anyone was.
I think it's definitely just 1 season, especially with this cast.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Reese Witherspoon,
maybe Reese
Nicole
Witherspoon's
Kidman,
the one that dies.
Well, Adam Scott.
I don't think. I think isn't sort of like the big thing about this show that Reese Witherspoon is creating roles for women of a certain age that maybe aren't getting as many roles as they used to. So I wouldn't put it out of. Nicole Kidman.
Maybe she comes back with a different version of this show or a different show entirely. But I think this is going to be
or as a dead body for one episode.
Wait, so do we? You guys think it's possible that, or you think it's likely that one of the 3 of them died?
Oh, I have no idea who died.
Or what's your best guess? Screen bet.
I think we need some more information.
Who's the murderer and who's the person murdered?
There's a lot of stories that are red herrings that I really think are red herrings. Like, I think the fight between Adam Scott and the other dad is like a complete, like, wanting to make us think that they were somehow related. I think it's going to be one of the mothers.
It has to have something to do with Renata, I think. Come on, Renata is so pissed.
I know. I mean, there's so many great acting performances going on. I forgot to even mention Laura Dern, who is so great here as well as Renata. That I love that dynamic between her and Reese Witherspoon's character, Madeline.
It really, those are some of my favorite parts.
That's like the obvious place, is that it's going to be some sort of confrontation between those two. But
I think it's going to be someone else killed Renata. That's what I think it's going to be. I don't know who it's, like someone on the periphery.
Yeah.
Chris?
I think it's going to be... I could see, like... I'm horrible with the names in this show. Who's the single mother that is the audience surrogate?
Jane?
Jane mother of Ziggy?
Yes.
I think it's going to be like...
Cheyenne Woodley?
She killed the guy who raped her, or vice versa.
At the party?
At the party?
This guy's showing up at the party?
Oh, it's at a party?
It's at a trivia night, right?
It's at the school event.
Oh, I thought that was... Oh, okay. I just missed that.
Yeah, it happened at the school event.
Oh, okay.
So, Chris, not looking too good for your chance to the screen.
Who do we think strangled Renata's daughter?
Well, there's a good question right there. Also, can I just say, what a, like, the way that the teacher brought up...
I know, not appropriate.
Like, come on, that was so weird. And I guess they did mention it. Yeah, they did in the show mention that it wasn't an appropriate way to bring it up. I love Reese Witherspoon's character. So good.
I like her too. Like, she's really nosy and pushy and bossy, but I think at her core, she's a really, like, fundamentally decent and caring person.
Yeah.
So I'm really drawn to her as well.
Here's who I think choked Renata's daughter. I think we're supposed to think it's Nicole Kidman's sons, because they just look like they're up to something.
Well, also,
and they learn from their dad.
They could have gotten it from their father doing the same thing to their mother.
Yeah, but I think it's going to turn out to... Now, we've had two things come up that make me think it's Ziggy. Mm-hmm. One, he's a sleepwalker. He could have choked her in his sleep.
He is? Have we seen that?
Yeah.
But he fell asleep after getting out of the car, but before going into school?
No, they have naps. Chris, that was at orientation.
Okay.
They damn well could have had a nap. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Chris, it could have happened. He could have felt... Why would they show that he's a sleepwalker? But maybe it was just to throw us off. Second, when he's trying to find out about his dad, we see that he has a little bit of an anger streak in him.
He's got some rage.
Even though multiple people have said, Ziggy is so great. Oh, what a great kid. But, so I'm thinking, we're supposed to think it's Nicole Kidman's kids, and it's going to be Ziggy. Anyone else?
I'm saying... I think for that one, it's going to be like...
I think it's the twins, the boys.
I think for that one, it's going to be like, it's this kid that we've never seen before. It's Jackson's kid.
It was the first kid that the teacher thought she was pointing to.
Yeah.
At the thing. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty good. Did we get both of your guesses for who killed who at the costume party?
It's too hard. Too many variables.
Well, you might say it's too hard, but here I am correctly guessing the final scene of Westworld.
I think... Alright, this is off the cuff.
Okay.
I think Nicole Kidman's character... What's her name again?
Nicole Kidman's character's name is Celeste, yeah.
I think Celeste kills someone. I don't know who.
Ooh.
Okay.
Do you think we'll ever get to see Celeste's lawyer skills? They've been so built up.
I think we'll see it. But that's just such another sad, like, component to that relationship, is that, like, she gave up her entire career at a pretty relatively young age to raise these kids, to allow this guy probably going around the world having dozens of affairs.
You got that right. That piece of
such a piece of shit.
I will say this about this show. What an easy show to make. you just rent like 4 mansions in LA and then an elementary school, and you're done.
Chris,
beachfront houses. I'm sure
beachfront
that's really
houses.
easy to rent.
Are you kidding me? HBO probably has like HBO probably has a guy that
You're
has
selling
like
the show a
4
little bit short there, Chris.
okay, Chris. Maybe we don't have extravagant sense. Extravagant.
I'm saying.
sense.
Well,
I'm saying
This is a guy coming off the Game of Thrones stage show.
Reese Witherspoon probably had to go like drive down the street to shoot all those scenes that she's in that mansion. I'm saying it's probably like an attractive role for these people.
This is a guy all high and mighty watching a translucent tree being lowered down on an extravagant Game of Thrones stage, and he thinks we have to have that in every show.
Oh, hey, one thing I forgot to say about Game of Thrones concert: the final song, the goodbye song. The man busts out an acoustic guitar.
Oh God!
And everyone starts singing a sing-along version on the giant screens of The Bear and the Maiden Fair, like the folk song from the show. And it was really fun.
No, I actually thought you were going to say it was going to be that scene from the song that Chris Pratt sings about the pony in Parks and Recreation.
Goodbye, Little Sebastian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, for all we know, the Game of Thrones guy wrote that song.
He might have.
So great show. We spent quite some time talking about this show, but good stuff. I'm looking forward to it. I also felt like the last episode ended. I forget exactly how it ended, but I felt like it was like I wasn't expecting it to end. Like I felt like there was more. I think we end with the Jane scenes, right? It's that stuff. I think. I think so. Can't remember. But anyway, Mike.
Let's do some quick hits.
Yeah.
What?
You have some quick hits for us, right?
Sure. Would you mind telling me what my first one is?
How about you watch that show called The Americans, right?
The Americans, that's it. Came back last night for its 5th season, 5th of what will be 6 total seasons. On the heels of what I would say, what many have said was its finest, season 4. And yeah, 1 episode in, I would say it's a really strong start.
I actually have a question for you as a man that's never watched it. You mentioned it last time, I was very intrigued, and I attempted to get it on demand, only to learn that all of the old episodes cost money individually.
I believe they're all on Amazon.
Is that right? See, this is the kind of info I was hoping to get with this question, because I was like, first of all, does anyone do that? I'm sorry, you guys out there that do that, but like, you see like a show that's a weekly show that has like 8,000 episodes and they're like $4 each. Like, does anyone go through and just like purchases like $4 a piece these that's shows? Crazy. Like, is that like the network's dream? Like, yes, like this shit, like this season is from like 6 years ago, and this guy just got hooked, and the only way he knows how is to buy each episode for $4 on demand. I just don't get it. So I said, no, thank you, the Americans, and then I said, I'll see if anyone knows a better way, and I'll certainly do that. But I think it sounds like a cool show.
Yeah, very cool, very methodical, just cool, calm, collected show.
Very cool.
Very cool. Very very nifty little spy thriller about this Russian spy couple raising a family in 1980s Washington, D.C. Next door neighbor happens to be an FBI agent investigating them. And yeah, we returned this season. They're further along in their spyly duties, raising their daughter, bringing her into the fold as a potential Russian asset. Which cool stuff with Paige. The episode ends with like a silent 15-minute like scene in which they uncover a buried body at some sort of compound to collect a blood sample because he was carrying some very very nasty toxic virus bioweapon. that
Wow.
could potentially be used against the United States.
You're saying this whole show is a prequel to The Strain?
Sure.
Or DS.
It's a prequel to our current United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to talk a little bit, just really quickly, about a new show called My Brother, and Me on the streaming service CISO. I don't know if you guys know CISO.
I don't know CISO, but I know that you've been wanting to talk about this. You mentioned it to me and Mike a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
So now allow me and Mike to take about 10 seconds to completely zone out, and you can have the floor. No, I'm just kidding. Actually,
Okay.
I've heard about this, and it sounds good.
CISO is NBC's comedy streaming app. It's like a Netflix only for comedy.
It is?
Yep. So
Didn't know
they
that.
have all of like the day after, or might be night of, all the NBC crap, which I don't really watch. Then they also have a whole bunch of exclusive British comedy streaming that you can't really get in the US, plus a bunch of original content. My Brother, and Me is one of the original content. So, My Brother, and Me is one of my favorite podcasts. It's a comedy advice show. They look through like weird Yahoo answers questions and people asking questions, and they just give funny answers. So popular that the streaming service gave them a show. They're 6 half-hour episodes, and I think it's a great exercise in a way to properly turn a podcast into a TV show. Each episode is one question, and then they just do a bunch of funny things trying to answer that question. And it's extremely funny, and well worth I think it's $3.99 per month for CISO. Yeah.
You don't get it for free if you have cable?
No. It's like
That's
Hulu, it's like
interesting.
Hulu Plus or something. Yeah, I think you get a week free. But I've also been enjoying all the other like CISO shows. There's like Harmon Quest and Take My Wife is supposed to be like a Louis like type show, which I'm definitely gonna check out. So yeah, My Brother, and Me. Hey Mike, how's that new show Feud?
Betty and Joan.
Thanks, Mike.
A new Ryan Murphy joint. Again, partnered with FX.
Oh, he said thanks, Mike. Sorry.
This has been really
Please,
awkward.
please.
So, how much does it feel like a Ryan Murphy show? Because
It
they all
feels
feel
like
the
a Ryan
same.
Murphy show. I mean,
Okay.
anytime you sit down and watch a Ryan Murphy show, within seconds, you're going to pick up that it's a Ryan Murphy show. And that could be a good thing. That could be maybe a not so good thing. In this case, I would say it's a very good thing. Just to sort of bring it back to just all of Ryan Murphy's career, he can be very sporadic, and he can be very incoherent in his storytelling and his characterizations. But he's also just a really talented director, and just the way he moves his camera and uses it to convey his story is really impressive to me. And he's done that throughout American Horror Story. He was a little bit less involved creatively in People vs. OJ. He was primarily just a producer and director, but now with Feud, the Betty and
Joan.
Betty and Joan story, I would say he's pretty intricately involved in he created the show, he scripted the pilot, and he directed it as well. Doesn't have as much Ryan Murphy excess, doesn't have as much Ryan Murphy flailing plot elements. I think it was just more a strange hour of TV. It directed beautifully as always, starring Jessica Lange and Susan Sarandon as the two lead characters, and it's really interesting. I really dug the premiere.
The trailers for it or whatever, the spots for it are so like
In your face.
yeah, they're very much trying to be like old school dramatic.
Yeah,
like we're watching
old
like
Hollywood.
Old movie. Yeah.
It's very stylized in that style. I just want to mention this last thing I'll say. I tweeted this out the other day. 2 spoken aloud fucks in this show.
in the show.
It's on
God
FX.
bless.
It's a rare occurrence that you get one fuck, let alone two. Two fucks in a very sexualized context. Usually when you get a fuck on FX, it's like, oh, fuck you, or whatever. But no, it's like, do you want to fuck this girl? But I think it was asked twice aloud. Just, I couldn't believe my ears. Ryan Murphy is just, he's always breaking those barriers.
Yep.
I wonder what kind of
what he's known for.
What kind of hoops that man had to jump through. And as Chris said, not a second early enough. Thank you, Mike. So you already talked about. Let's see. Oh, Bates Motel.
Yes, another show.
I only watched the first season of that, but I have been intrigued.
You watched the first season?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
You guys didn't know that I watched
I think
the
I remember
first season?
you saying that.
Wow, I snuck a show in under the radar.
Well,
We're 3 episodes into its 5th and final season. Again, on the heels of its best season ever, made my top 10 last year. We're now very close to the show meeting up with the period of time in the film Psycho. We're very close to.
I remember you mentioning that, yeah.
I mean, spoilers. Norma is dead. Norman killed her.
my God.
Wow.
He has stuffed her in his basement, and he's now very clearly mentally deranged. He interacts with her as though she's alive. He assumes her identity. So, I mean, all of that good stuff is that we saw in Psycho, we're now seeing at Bates Motel. So it's very fun seeing that seeing that conveyed in the show.
Are you sure you haven't been watching some sort of dramatic reenactment of our friend Tony's diary?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty fitting. I mean, the two narratives here. But again, yeah, it's good. I haven't been as impressed with this season so far as I was in last. It's still kind of something. Just what's always sort of plagued the show is its inability to just play itself straight. It always has to incorporate some sort of like twisty, melodramatic, just very TV-ish element to it, and there's some of that in this season, but it is still on pretty strong footing, and I'm excited. We haven't gotten to the Psycho stuff yet with Marion Crane. It will be portrayed by Rihanna, but we're inching our way there.
Wow.
Very cool. Yeah. I might have to jump back in.
You might have to.
Maybe we can go to a negotiating table. I know I've said this before. I'll trade you a couple of episodes of Bates Motel for a few episodes of DS.
Okay.
Now, me and Chris have been watching Taboo. I love it. I love Taboo, and now we're done. It was a short season.
Yep, first short season, although each episode was like normally over an hour 13 around there. So I bet we got an extra episode worth of content.
Good call, Chris.
Yeah.
Good call.
Thanks.
So,
how
what did you think? Yeah.
So that show is it can get so confusing and dense, but I think the final episode did a good job of just ushering everything away, and a lot of characters got killed off in that final battle, and then it left us in the spot where I wanted us to be in maybe 3 episodes prior, on our way to America. But
Yeah,
I'm happy.
yeah.
I'm happy that we got there.
It would be great if this was 8 of 10.
That's true, yeah.
And then we could see.
Yeah. Although I did love that final line.
Yep.
We are the Americans.
Yep. And then they put up that flag.
God bless.
But why, though? Okay, I know this has been a recurring theme for us. Why tease that the man has supernatural powers and then have it be just completely non-consequential in the entire, what happened in the show? Basically, it's early on, we're like, whoa, this guy's got some secret powers.
Yeah.
And then it just turns out that Tom Hardy is a crazy man that just, leverages his relationships with people to get what he wants. And really unclear, he's not motivated by money, he's just a crazy guy.
Dude, The dude's just a crazy guy. He's not specifically motivated by money because he has all those blood diamonds, as we've seen, which is this show's translation to endless money, apparently.
Yeah.
Because he uses those diamonds. He's giving those diamonds out a lot. But I think he hates the East India Company. We know that.
Yeah.
And teaming up, and by proxy, he hates the Crown, because the Crown basically is in bed with the East India Company.
Yeah.
So I think this whole season was him tidying up his unfinished business in London, and then doing a one big FU to London and the Crown, and now he's off and going to make a new life in America.
What do you think of Michael Kelly's part in the show, from the actor from House of Cards that's also in this show?
Which guy?
Do you really not
Michael Kelly from House of Cards,
the American?
Oh yeah,
the doctor guy.
Okay, yeah, I was liking him up until the weird final twist that he was like a double agent.
I didn't really understand what was going on. I like when Tom Hardy gave him a swift.
Oh yeah,
put an end to him. And then, wait, did he
gives a cool one-liner.
What did he say? I can't remember.
Well, the guy from House of Cards says he's like explaining in a Bond villain type way, like, I betrayed you, and then he says, no one has only one master in London. And then Tom Hardy like fucks him up and he says, I do.
And then did he drown him in like a special thing?
I think he
what was that?
That man is like a man of like, he has all these chemicals and he's like he's the gunpowder guy. I know he's not the like scientist guy, but he has like, remember his cover was he was like in a clinic.
Yes.
So he probably has a bunch of like medicine and stuff there.
That's true. It was probably some of that. But anyway, great season. I really enjoyed it.
Good season. One thing I didn't like about the finale was that final. I thought the idea of that final gun battle was okay, but it wasn't shot particularly well. It was just kind of...
Yeah, it wasn't the best.
Yeah, it was just kind of people pointing old-looking guns at people, and then like smoke would come out of the guns. It wasn't shot particularly well. But I'm excited for season 2.
Yeah, season 2 announced.
If anything, it'll be a drastic change in scenery, which I think is something that show will be greatly benefited by.
I'll take that character anywhere. Like, if we get, like, it'd just be funny to see him in different places, you know?
Yeah.
He's a crazy guy. But very cool. I just wanted to mention quickly something about... I think I can safely say I'm the only one here that's seen every episode of Madam Secretary.
Not so fast, Jeff.
One of the few in the world, I would wager.
That's insulting. Jeez. But anyway, speaking of insulting, it came back from another random month hiatus, and this, I think, was my least favorite episode. And again, I don't know what season this is. I think it's season 3.
You don't know what season it is?
Let's see. Yes, it's season 3. I've seen every episode, and I could not take, if anyone else watches it. So we had this sort of like dueling, like there's a bunch of stuff going on, and you know, the show has never been, you know, they've never shied away from, oh, random person dies, like, you know, secondary character dead. So one of the regulars on the show, Daisy, who's like the Secretary of State's PR person, over a couple of episodes, of course, this was a month ago, but over the previous couple of episodes, she's been sort of, a relationship's been brewing with someone in the financial department. Guy just dead. Just dead. I'm just thinking, like, why? Why even do it? Like, know what though? Like, because there's other storylines going on that I want to spend time with, and I just did not like this episode. Tim Daly, I thought, had a cool storyline this episode, but whenever like she walked in for their first date, and he was just laying on his couch in his office dead, I was like, what are we doing here, man? What have we been doing? but they did tease that he might not have been who he seemed.
Wow.
So
it's a DS type twist.
I can't say I'm looking forward to finding out who he was, although we sort of know a little bit more now. But please, no more, Madam Secretary. Let's get back on track.
All right.
Very good. And then you guys have been watching Legion.
Yeah, so Legion had a pretty momentous episode. It was pretty out of the box.
That was unreal.
Yeah.
Took me 2 viewings to get through that one.
Guy from, I forget his name, but the guy from Flight of the
Conchords?
Conchords, which I love him. I was happy to see him. And I guess he was the voice in the coffee machine from the latest episode. From the 3rd episode.
Okay.
Which is why why the leader woman kept listening over and over to the coffee machine.
And they have some sort of relationship, right?
Yeah.
He is the man in that
in like the
scuba
diving
spacesuit, whatever.
Yeah. So this whole episode a lot of this episode hinged on special effects, which I thought were kind of hit and miss.
I thought they were mostly really good. I mean, the moment when David was climbing out of that like ice vessel chamber, whatever the hell that was, and like we see from a bird's eye view of him up against a green screen that looked a little flimsy, but that was mostly fine.
Yeah, I loved the intro, the Flight of the Conchords, man, just like weaving us a tale. One thing I didn't like about this episode though was it played into the classic pitfall of telling us more about a character so we get invested in them in the episode where they die.
Right. Yeah, they did kind of just dump all that exposition on us about that character.
I mean, it was interesting.
I had no idea that they were one and the same.
Yeah.
This woman living inside this man. That's a really weird
it's an out there concept.
mutation.
And she only ages when she's outside of his body, which is why he's like twice the age that she is.
Do you think he's dead?
I don't think he's dead.
Is she dead?
She's dead. Or maybe she might regenerate.
I have no idea. It's so weird. Yeah, this episode was nuts. It was so difficult to like differentiate between dream sequence and David's actual memories with his some sort of manifestation of his memories.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. This whole Benny versus Lenny thing. We find out that Lenny isn't actually the person from his past. It was actually this greasy, druggy man named Benny that was such a bad influence on him.
You know, a lot of the times you hear the word unreliable narrator, but then we actually see the unreliable nature of really memory, and dreams, and how he might have these powers, but he might be somewhere in the middle, where he might be a little bit crazy, where he's just he's crazily misremembering things, and he does have these powers. And it's just, this episode unlocked some things that definitely, if they play out properly, going down the line, it could be really cool.
It was a really cool episode, but absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
And probably the craziest place that the show's gone to so far. I don't know if it's going to continue down that well, or if it's going to go towards a more straightforward, conventional narrative. This may have just been a diversion, but either way, I'm on board for whatever it wants to do, because I remain really interested.
Sounds like I've got some catching up to do.
Oh
yeah, it was a pretty out there episode.
How deep are we?
4 episodes in.
4 episodes. I've got some catching up to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just a quick one more note on Madam Secretary. Sorry to bring it back, guys. I'm serious about this. I forgot to mention the other half of this episode was Jay Whitman, who's like her policy specialist. All this drama with his ex-wife, like cheating on him or something. It's just, let me just say, enough. Just let's get back to the bread and butter. Let's do it like we used to. Okay, Madam Secretary? Let's forget about, half the episode being this, drama with some, him breaking up with his wife, and then some guy that just got introduced 2 episodes ago died. Let's let's have enough with it, okay? But anyway, sorry guys. I was thinking about how, because that infuriated me too. That was the other part of the episode.
Get it out.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Now, before we go, Mike, where can we find you online?
Follow me on Twitter at linguistics_ and ScreeningClub.com. I plan to have another review up sometime Friday. I'm going to see King Kong Skull Island tomorrow. So
nice.
We'll be looking forward to that.
Look forward to writing about that.
Where can we find you, Chris?
Twitter.com/ThatMorris and ScreeningClub.com. Every week I write about The Walking Dead. Come join the convo.
And you can find me, as always, therealjeffmoore.com and on ScreeningClub.com. Guys, come join us on ScreeningClub.com. All sorts of articles, insight. You can share your thoughts right there on the website. You can also send us comments at screeningclub@gmail.com and follow us on social media, guys. We're all over the place. We're all over it. So come, engage with us. We love to hear your voice. So until next time, enjoy your week of TV watching, and we'll see you next week.
God bless.